Welcome back to the Transform You Live show. I'm Marcus Hart, combat veteran, mental health journalist, recovering mess, and your guide to the gritty reality of faith-fired truth. If you are new here, we don't do fluff. We don't do live, laugh, live, and love. We take the chaos of your life, the trauma, the incarceration, the bankruptcy, the divorce, and we turn it into currency. Currency that you can use. We build authority from the ashes. Now, before we get into the psychology of your comeback, I need you to ask yourself something. And I need to ask you something. Are you tired? Not just need a nap tired. I mean, soul tired. Spirit exhaustion. I have developed a framework that helps leaders just like you make one specific shift, just one, that cuts the spiritual exhaustion by 30% in the first week. If you are trying to build a legacy while you are running on fumes, you need to stop. You need to stop right now. So go over to marcus-hart.com and book a strategy call with me right now. Let's all get together and show you how to stop the bleeding energy. Now let's talk about how to engineer your own comeback right now.
Welcome to the Transform You Live show.
Now let's get real about why you are stuck. And I don't mean I need a better calendar app stuck. I mean, why do you feel like an imposter in your own life? Sigmund Freud had this concept called the superego. Now, I'm not here to give you a psych lecture, but stay with me just for a little bit. The superego is basically the internal judge. It's the part of you that has absorbed every rule, every criticism, and every failure you have ever experienced. For me, my super ego sounded a lot like a mix of a drill sergeant and a judge during my sentencing. It's constantly reminded me of my rap sheet. It has constantly reminded me of the nights in the cell. That dark moment when I could smell the sand of being overseas, deployed in Iraq, or that sound of the jail door where it's just that clink clack, bam boom, just constantly over and over again. And then you hear like people beating on the doors because they're bored out of their life. And that sand smell, hot, salty, it was terrible. Pretty dark. See, that voice isn't just your thoughts, folks. It's a marketing campaign. Your subconscious mind is selling you a product, and the product is called You Are a Failure. And guess what? You are buying right into it every single day. You wake up and the inner radio station plays the I'm not good enough anthem. You scroll social media and you see someone win, and your brain immediately runs and that says they have it all together, but you don't. This is why trying harder doesn't work. And I know you have heard that before. You can't out hustle a bad marketing campaign that's planned on a loop in your own skull. You don't need more motivation, fam. You need a new PR firm. So how do we fix this exactly? We look to a man named Edward Bernays. Bernays is considered the father of public relations. He was Few's nephew, actually, and he took Few's ideas about the subconscious and used them to change the world forever. He coined a phrase that I want you to write down right now: the engineering of consent. Bernays believed that you could manipulate the masses into wanting things that they didn't even know they needed. He made women smoke cigarettes by rebranding them as torches of freedom. He changed the American breakfast by convincing doctors to recommend heavy meals. Hello, bacon and eggs. He manipulated the public. But here is the Transform You twist to this. You are the public, and you are also the campaign manager. If you want to build an empire, if you want to leave a legacy, you have to run a propaganda campaign on yourself. You have to engineer consent in your own spirit. Right now, your trauma is controlling the narrative. I'm a convict. I'm a victim. I have PTSD. We are going to use Bernays' method to rebrand that. Okay? Everybody's slowing down around this time of year. Even me. For the holidays, I just crash on down. Okay? And sometimes we don't know how to wrap up that internal propaganda to launch into the new year. The new year is on the horizon and we need to get energized right now. And we don't need to wait to January 1st. Not so ever whatsoever. And I hate that I find myself in that position, but these tactics, which I have learned, has turned that all around for me. And I'm going to give you these 3 steps right now to start this very own campaign today. This is how we move from victim to authority. All right. The press in the news world, okay? The news world, nothing happens until the press drops. The press release, that is. You need to issue a new press release about your life. Stop saying, I went to jail. Start saying, I survived the fire so I could lead others through the smoke. Stop saying, I failed at that business. Start saying, I paid for an expensive education in what doesn't work. This neurologistic programming, which is also abbreviated as NLP, words are the code. Words are the code in NLP. If you code your brain with failure, you get anxiety. If you code your brain with training, you get authority. Every campaign has a slogan, and this is step 2, by the way. The slogan, just do it. Think different. Your inner critic has a slogan right now. Probably something along the lines of, who do you think you are? You need to override that signal frequency. You need a new hook. My slogan, chaos is my currency. That's my slogan. When things go wrong, I don't panic. I say more currency. Now, what is your slogan? Okay? I want you to think about that right now, what your slogan is. This is the Dan Kennedy rule, censorship. All right? Step 3, censorship. Direct response marketing works because you target the buyers and you ignore the non-buyers. You need to censor your inputs. If you are watching news that makes you fearful, then turn it right off. That's enemy propaganda. If you are hanging around people who remind you of who you used to be, cut them the hell off. That's bad PR. You cannot build a new empire consuming old data. Listen to me, and listen to me very clearly. The world is waiting for your story, but they will never ever hear it if you don't believe it first. You have authority, you have experience, you have the scars to prove that you have survived. But you have to stop letting your trauma run the marketing department. You are the CEO of your mind. Fire the critic, hire the visionary, and start broadcasting the truth, for crying out. Now, I know some of you are listening to this and you're nodding in your head, but you feel heavy. You feel like you are trying to run this campaign while wearing a 100-pound rucksack. That's the spiritual exhaustion I talked about. You don't have to carry that into the new year. I want you to go back to my website, marcus-hart.com. That's marcus-hart.com. We have a specific protocol called the Authority Launchpad. We help you identify the one thing draining your energy, and then we replace it with a system that fuels you. Imagine reclaiming 30% of your energy next week. What could you build with that? What kind of father, mother, leader could you be? Once again, I'm going to warn you. Do not wait for January 1st. The empires are being built right now. I'm Marcus Hart, folks. This is the Transform You Live show. Your story is your currency. Spend it wisely. Many blessings, peace, and lots of love.
stand for what you stand for. I'm at your door like the landlord. I can see the future, yeah, I fast forward. I get on the mic and I transform. Follow me, I'm in rare form. Follow me on this world tour. The asteroid that you can't avoid.